My name's Lauren, and I'm from a small town just outside Seattle. I bought a house 5 years ago, a cozy craftsman with creaky floors and a view of the Puget Sound. It was my sanctuary, my proof that I could build something solid after growing up with nothing. I poured everything into that place, my savings, my dreams, my trust. And that's where it all started to unravel. It began with my boyfriend Ethan and his sister Claire. They needed a place to stay after Claire lost her job in Portland. Ethan begged me to let her move in just for a few months, he said. I loved him, you know? The kind of love that makes you blind, that makes you say yes when your gut's screaming no. So I opened my home to them, my home, the one I paid for with every overtime shift, every skipped vacation, every sacrifice. That was my first mistake. At first, it was fine. Claire was all smiles, all gratitude, calling me sis and cooking dinners to thank me. Ethan seemed happy, relieved even that his sister had a soft place to land, but then I started noticing things, little things. The way Claire's eyes lingered on Ethan when she thought I wasn't looking, the late-night phone calls she'd dismiss as work stuff, even though she hadn't found a job yet. The way Ethan stopped meeting my gaze, his laughs turning hollow, his touch cold. I'd walk into a room and their whispers would stop, replaced by Claire's too loud chatter or Ethan's sudden need to check his phone. My house, my space, started feeling like a stage for their secrets. I tried to brush it off, told myself I was paranoid. But then came the rent thing. Claire had the nerve to stand at the foot of my staircase one January morning, arms crossed, her cheap vanilla body spray choking the air, and she spat, "Pay your rent or get out." Pay my rent? In my own house? I stood there, keys in hand, staring at her smug face, her lips curled like she'd won something. Ethan was in the kitchen, pretending he didn't hear, his silence louder than her venom. I didn't say a word, just grabbed my coat and walked out into the freezing Washington wind, the door slamming behind me like a gunshot. She didn't know, neither of them did. I owned that house outright. Every mortgage payment, every property tax bill, mine. They thought they could play me, thought they could push me out of my own life. That was their first mistake, and mine, letting them think they could get away with it. I started paying attention after that, really paying attention. I saw the patterns, Claire's over-the-top sweetness when I was around like she was auditioning for sainthood, Ethan's new habit of working late at a job that never required it before, the smirks they shared when they thought I was distracted, and then the bank account. They didn't know I could see every transaction. I'd set up the rent payments to go into an account I controlled just to keep things organized. Claire lied about me being late on rent. Me, who's never missed a bill in her life. She thought she could flex her little power trip, thought she could humiliate me in my own home, but she was standing on a stage I built. That day, when she screamed at me, her eyes gleaming with this petty, small-time authority, something in me snapped. Not rage, not sadness, something colder, sharper. Like a line being drawn in the sand they'd spent months dirtying. I didn't confront them. That would have been too easy, too messy. Instead, I got quiet. I got smart. I started checking everything. The house had a camera system. Nothing fancy, just enough to keep an eye on things. I watched their logins, their late-night talks in the living room when they thought I was asleep. I checked the Wi-Fi history, every search, every breadcrumb they left behind. Claire didn't even password protect her laptop. Arrogance always forgets to lock its doors, doesn't it? What I found, oh God, it was worse than I imagined. Not just flirting, not just betrayal, plans, text messages between them, plotting how to push me out, how to deal with Lauren until they could take over the house. They laughed about me, mocked how I trusted them, how I'd let them live there rent-free for months. They even talked about faking paperwork, thinking they could trick me into signing over my own home, my home, the one I'd built from nothing. I printed every text, every screenshot, and tucked them into a manila folder labeled closure. I didn't cry, I didn't scream. I called my real estate agent instead. The offer came fast, $840,000, cash, no contingencies. I had them sign a lease agreement just to keep them comfortable, to let them think they'd won. They signed it like fools, grinning like they'd bought themselves time. But I was never leaving, they were. The eviction notice hit like a thunderclap. I didn't warn them. I wanted to see Claire's face when she read it, wanted to watch the realization crash over her, and it did. Not confusion, not fear, recognition. She knew exactly what she'd done. She called me, her voice shaking, no venom left, just panic. Why would they evict us? We didn't do anything wrong. We have tenant rights. Can you talk to the landlord, Lauren, please? I let her ramble, let her voice crack, let her beg. Then I said, I am the landlord. Silence. The line went dead. 2 days later, she showed up at my office in downtown Seattle, mascara streaking her face, dragging Ethan behind her like a ghost. You sold our home, she said, her voice small, broken. I didn't offer her a chair. It was never your home, I told her. I slid the folder across my desk, every text, every plan, every knife they'd twisted into my back, laid out in black and white. Claire's hands shook as she opened it. Ethan's face crumpled, his silence finally breaking into shame. We didn't mean it, Claire whispered, but the words were hollow, desperate. You did, I said. I gave you a home and you tried to gut it from the inside. She cried then, not the kind of tears that beg for forgiveness, but the kind that know it's over. They moved out the next week. I watched from the window as their car pulled away, one of those cheap rentals stuffed with cardboard boxes and whatever pride they had left. Ethan didn't look back. Claire did. Just once, her eyes meeting mine through the glass. I didn't flinch. When they turned the corner and disappeared, I felt nothing. No regret, no victory, just quiet. For the first time in years, my house was mine again. They wanted me out, thought my kindness was weakness, thought they could rewrite my story. But I'm the one who writes the deeds, and I'm still standing.